Welcome to another new episode of the Declutter Me podcast with myself, Shelina. Happy New Year, and I hope you had a lovely break and didn't get ill. I've had a few friends that have caught COVID recently, and I'm just worried that I'll be next. I have a feeling it's coming soon, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't. But if you have been ill, I hope you get better soon, and I hope you're all keeping safe. So, let's start with the episode. Before the Christmas holidays, I was working on a lot of closets and kept seeing ones that were built without considering the requirements of the clients. So I wanted to share my thoughts on what to consider when building a new closet. I've talked about this before on episode 53, but I wanted to share more points and also reiterate the ones from before. So here are my points. So the first thing, obviously, is to declutter. Yep, declutter. I always say it, and I always will. I mean, it is called the Declutter Me podcast after all. So get a big bag or a box and go through the items in your closet and see what doesn't look good, that doesn't fit, that's broken, and that's plain fugly. Yep, I use the word fugly. If it is, get it out. Donate it, throw it away, do whatever you need to do, but get it out of the wardrobe. If you're having a nice new closet, you don't want to have a fugly piece of clothing in that wardrobe. You know what I mean? Next, once you've done the declutter, categorize the clothes and accessories so you can see how much you have of each type of item. So make sure you have all the tops together, all the formal wear, shirts, blazers, suits, dresses, fancy dresses, belts, etc. And however much you think or your closet designer thinks you need for long hanging space, double it. Especially if you wear abayas, jalabiyas, and long dresses. If you don't wear anything long ever and only wear short dresses, short skirts, short shorts, ignore this. But if you wear long things, you need more than you think you do. All right, trust me on this. I have never been in a closet which has had the right amount of long hanging space, ever. And if they give you that corner section, just make sure it's not like that. It's terrible, those corner things. There is a way around it now, and a good closet designer should know how to get around dealing with those corner sections. And if they can't, then put the long formal wear, evening wear in that section, because, unless you go out every night and look fabulous, then you don't need to access those dresses very often. Number 4, make sure you reach your clothes from the hanging rods and put them back in the same place easily. Otherwise, you have to install a ladder into your closet area, which is a waste of space. So make sure you can reach your hanging rods. Now I'm 5'4", so I need to be able to have the rods a bit lower. So when designers like putting that stupid little shelf at the bottom underneath the hanging bit, it's a waste of a shelf and it's a waste of space which could be used for hanging clothes. And make sure that when they put the hanging rods, that actually your long clothes will not crease on the bottom bit of the wardrobe, because I've seen that as well. That's mainly due to those stupid little shelves they put at the bottom of the wardrobe. Have I mentioned how bad these shelves are? So make sure the rod is high enough for you to reach and also will not crease your clothes. So if you have very long dresses or abayas or jalabiyas, make sure it won't touch the floor from the hanging thing. So that was for the long hanging, but think also about the half hanging. So if you have a lot of tops, a lot of shirts, blazers, jackets, trousers, if you're going to hang them, make sure you have enough of the half level hanging rods. So I would say usually most people that I deal with need about 4 to 6 half hanging rods. Some people need less. It just depends on how much space you have, how many clothes you have. So that's why I always say categorize and declutter beforehand. And so, do think about that. And if you have a lot of suits and blazers, you'll need half rod just for them. And you might need 2 because they can be heavy, especially with the wooden hangers as well. If the closet designer tells you to buy those pole things, they're like a pole or pull-out rods, and then you put the trousers in between, say no. And I'm saying this again. Just say no to those stupid trouser rolly pole things. Just get a hanging rod, get velvet hangers, hang the trousers on them, and they'll stay on there, and you can put more trousers on that hanging rod than you can with that stupid trouser pole thing. And pull-out rods are the most useless thing since mud. Actually, no, mud is useful. Mud is useful. These pull-out rods are not useful. They're a pain for putting ties. They're a pain for belts. They're a pain for trousers. They're just painful. Please don't. Why do that to yourself? Use a drawer. Use a box. Put something behind your door for those ties if you've only got a few. If you've got about 100 ties, I'm looking at you, men. If you got 100 ties, why do you need 100 ties? Are you really going to wear 100 ties when you go to work? And no, just no, okay? Talking about accessories, belts and scarves and all those other accessories, think about it. Can you fit them in a box? Can you fit them in a drawer? If you get the section drawers, will it fit all your belts? Especially if you have those big, waist belts you wear, Valentino belts are really wide. You can't fit them in drawers. So think about what you have and what you need with regards to space. So if they are big, then you might have to put them in boxes and then put them on a shelf. Obviously not the shelf at the bottom of the wardrobe. So think about those kind of things, and also think about what you might buy in future. So if you have bought these kind of belts before, or you have a lot of ties or a lot of scarves, you think about that you might buy more of them and you'll need to fit them somewhere. Now let's talk about shoes. So usually with shoes in shoe cabinets, you can fit only 4 pairs. So, and that's if you do it one and the other one diagonal. So if it's deep, you can fit 8 shoes. Now, do you want to be able to see all your shoes, or are you happy to reach for the ones behind? Also, if you're a man or a woman with big feet, make sure that the designer knows that, because otherwise they'll build the shoe cabinet for shoes for tiny feet, because they're that dumb. So, and I mean, not all closet designers are dumb, but a lot of them that I've dealt with are. And I've had it that a guy had really big feet, and they said they'd looked at his clothes and obviously hadn't looked at his shoes completely properly, and it was bad when I had to mention that I couldn't fit the shoes in. So make sure you have enough space, and also make sure you have enough space to put all the shoes, all your trainers, all your flip-flops, all types of shoes. Now, if you don't have enough room in your closet or in your room or in your bedroom, can you put the shoe closets downstairs by the entrance hall? If you can, put them there. Also, do not buy that shoe cabinet thing where you just pull it and it comes out sideways, and then you put the shoes in down there, because they slip down the cracks. You can't put heels in there properly unless it's short heels. Flip-flops and stuff slide down. It's just the worst made shoe thing ever. I really cannot emphasize how much I despise that shoe cabinet thing. So please don't buy that thing ever, ever. If you've just ordered it, please return it back. And if you have ordered it before and you're using it and crying every time you use it because you can't get to your shoes and then you hurt your hand trying to get to the shoes, get rid of it. Just put it in a recycle, put it in free cycle. Just do something with it and get rid of it, please. Okay? Thank you. Next, let's talk about bags. So how many do you have? How big are they? How many clutches? And with bags, it's not as likely for you to declutter them as much as you would with clothes. So for me, I have a lovely collection of handbags, and I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to give them away. So I need as much space as possible for my bags. And a lot of ladies and men might be the same. So think about the size, think about what you have, and think about what you might get in the future. And so you need to have enough room for all your bags. And if you want to show off your bags in your closet, make sure you have enough shelving for that. You can have glass shelving if you want, but yeah. Point 12. Let's talk about seasonal items. So for us in the Middle East, winter clothes are not needed as much. So, they can be stored in boxes and put on shelves on the top of your closet where you don't have to reach them so often. I would say preferably put them in your closet behind doors so people don't see them, you don't see them, and dust doesn't get on them, or bugs, especially moths. So especially for your woolly items, your cashmere, your merino wool, make sure that they're stored properly. And obviously with woolly stuff, cover it in acid-free tissue if you can. Now, ladies, you have your ooh la la lingerie. Do you have a space for them in your drawer? Because they're usually ones that are bodices and all bits and pieces, and people never think about putting them away somewhere. Like, make sure you have a drawer just for them, okay? And the same applies for socks. People don't think about socks and how many socks they have, and then they have to put socks in a drawer. Make sure you have a drawer just for your socks. And then for the bras, make sure it's deep, especially if you have those ones with the gel and the padding and all that, and you can't fold them and you can't do anything except put them upright. You need deep drawers. Like, men will not think about this. If there's male designers, they do not think about bras. So you think about that you know what kind of bras you have, and you know how many you have and how big a drawer you need. And then you need a drawer for your underwear and your period pants and your boxers or your Y fronts, depending on what you wear. Next, jewelry. Do you want to see your jewelry, or do you want to hide it from prying eyes? If you want to see it, make sure you have enough of those section parts for all of your jewelry. So for your necklaces, your earrings, bracelets, anything else. If it is valuable stuff, I would recommend you put it in a safe. And now you can get jewelry boxes to put into safes. So make sure you do have that and it's all kept safe. And think about also where you're going to put your safe box. Is the safe box going to be in your closet, or is it going to be somewhere else? And do you want a big one or a small one? Like, how much stuff do you have? Like, if you have important documents as well as jewelry, are they all going to go in the same safe as well? So think about that as well. The next thing to think about is sunglasses. Like, if you're in the Middle East, we do have a lot of sunglasses. Even I think about 5 pairs of sunglasses. But I have had clients who have about 100 sunglasses. And then they've just had one of those drawers with sections for like 6 pairs of glasses. And yeah, it's not enough space. So if you have a lot of sunglasses and you want all the cases, you're going to need a big drawer. So think about how much you have and how much space you need for all of those sunglasses. And do you need all the cases? Like, most probably not. If you're just grabbing and wearing, you don't need the cases. My next point is about makeup, and we've talked about makeup before, and so I'm not going to go on, tell you what to do with them. But consider where it's going to be. Is it going to be in your walk-in closet area, in your bedroom? Is it going to be on a dresser? If it's going to be on a dresser, are you going to put the makeup on top of the dresser or in drawers? If it's in drawers, you mostly need narrow drawers and not, only need deep drawers for like eyeshadow and blusher and bottled stuff. But, brushes will be on the top, obviously. So, think about that. Another thing you have to think about is lighting. Lighting, I can't even talk properly. If it's not fixed well, it can be a pain. So make sure the electricians do it properly and check them over and over again before the contractors leave. Because if you can't close the door properly and the light doesn't switch off, you waste electricity, you waste money, and it's irritating as hell. So make sure they fix it properly and make sure there's no dents, because I always find dents in the lighting strips and they always go, oh, it's fine. It's like, no, it's not fine. It looks bad. Like, fix it. Like, make sure they fix it properly. If you're going to get a middle console in your closet, if the designers recommend you have a glass shelf to put your Louis Vuitton and your Prada and Chanel books and a candle and flowers, say no. You don't need glass shelves. You need drawers. Lots of drawers for all your accessories, all your beachwear, all your belts, sunglasses, everything else other than designer books. You can put the designer books on the top of the console with a fake flower, whatever, I don't know. But just, you don't need glass shelves. Please use drawers. Get drawers in the middle console. That's more important. Like, I know you want to make it all Instagram friendly and beautiful and Pinterest beautiful and all that, but think about reality and what you need for day-to-day living and to fit all your stuff. So please think about that. Talking about glass doors are great for Instagram, but not so great if you have a cluttered closet. So if you're one of those kind of people who's not good at keeping all your stuff organized and being able to find everything in 5 seconds, don't get glass doors, because you don't want to see every day the clutter in the cupboards. Okay, if you're great at organizing and you listen to the podcast and have learned how to be organized, amazing, then have glass doors. But just think about the fingerprints always. So every time you touch the doors, there'll be fingerprints. It's the same with those glass shelves in the console as well. So I would recommend not getting glass doors. So either have it open, unless you have you live in a humid environment, which we're going to talk about, or just get normal doors and a few mirrors. You don't need too many mirrored doors, because that's just fine. Like 1 or 2 would be fine, I think. Yeah. As I said about mold, if you live by the sea, make sure there's good ventilation in your closet room and put into humidifiers. So I've had a lot of clients in the Palm and in Abu Dhabi and even in Bahrain by the coast, and they don't think about the fact that it can get humid. So there is mold in the aircon systems, and they've switched off the aircon when they've gone on holiday, and then they come back to mold. So please, I beg you, get a good aircon system which you can program to switch on and off if it reaches a certain temperature, or if you're on holiday, we'll switch on every so often to make sure that there's cool air in your room so that your clothes don't get moldy, because it's very depressing to have to try and clean up a mold off bags and shoes and getting rid of clothes that have been destroyed by mold. It's really painful to see. Another thing to think about is sliding doors. Actually, don't think about sliding doors. Sliding doors are a pain. They look great for a few seconds and are the most painful thing to use. They come off the hinges. They never work. Please don't get sliding doors. That's the end of my conversation about sliding doors. And the final thing is, do you need a chaise lounge? I hope I said it right. Do you need one? Are you really going to be sitting, eating grapes, looking at your closet every day? Or are you going to go in, put on your underwear, put on your clothes, take your shoes and your bag and leave? Like, how long are you going to spend in your wardrobe? Are you going to have interviews there? Are you going to have friends and have a party while eating grapes? Are you? I don't think so. Do you need that much seating area? Most probably not. Maybe one chair to put your shoes on, but you don't need loads of chairs, chaise lounge sort of areas. So use that space for something else, like a bigger console or space for your bags or your shoes. Just think about that. And hat stands. Hat stands are worse. So these things are a magnet for clothes and stuff to be thrown onto them, and then it just ends up looking ugly. So get rid of the hat stands, get rid of the chaise lounge from the design, and it will make everything better for you. So these are my tips for today. I hope you found them useful. Let me know if I've forgotten anything, or if there's anything that's amazing that you've put in your closet that you think everybody else should know about. So leave a comment and let me know. And if you love what you heard and you found it useful, please share it with everybody you know. I would be so grateful. And and if you loved what you listened to, subscribe to Declutter Me on all your favourite podcast players. And you can also follow me on social media nearly everywhere at DECLUTTRME. And I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.